What are y'all up to? How are y'all doing? Can y'all hear me? Can everyone hear me? Let me put this one over here. Trying to get my captions. All right, hope this will. Can you all hear me? Yay! Congratulations! Woo, woo. That's what I'm talking about. See, that is taking action. So that means that you are going into 2021 with your mug business already set up and launched. Because a lot of people will say, I am actually going to start my business and I'm gonna get it up and running in 2021. But why wait? Why not start now? So congratulations to you. That is so awesome. School is over. Okay. That used to be me. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be like, okay, and in 2019 I'll do it. In 2020 I'm gonna do, that used to be me. I used to always, man, y'all. I used to always say I'll do it next year. I stopped doing that. Like I gotta have, and that's why I'm so crazy right now in the month of December, because I have stuff that I have to get done before going into 2021. I will not go into 2021 and be like, oh, I'm gonna start it then. I don't do that anymore. I can't. I will not do it anymore, because a lot of times what will happen, we won't do it, right? We won't do it. You set goals for yourself. That is, congratulations. I'm so happy and proud of you. And things are going to boom because you're already ready. All you got to do is finish executing. All right. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for those of you all who are joining me on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, and all the other platforms, thank you so much for joining me. It's okay if you only have 8 mugs. That's more than you need. You could have just had 1 mug and you would have been fine. The point is, you have the mugs, you have the site, you have it up and running. Even if you only had 1 mug to sell, you have something to sell. So 8 is like overachieving, to be honest. So that's amazing. That's really good. So no, bravo to you. So for those of you all who are new to me, my name is Wendy L. Alexander. I am an international strategist. I am an award-winning international speaker and best-selling author. And I am here today to talk to you about vendors. I have had so many people, I feel like, you're welcome. If you don't mind sharing is caring and blessing others, because I feel like this is needed for a lot of people, because people are going into 2021 and you're looking for products to sell. You're looking for vendors. You're buying vendor lists and you're just like, I don't know what to do, or you just don't know where to even start. And so I've been getting a lot of inbox messages about vendors, because I'm currently working with a couple of people. And I had been, as you all know, I've had clients who have started product lines and I'm in the process of doing something myself. And so I wanted to help you all out today and give you 4 things that I think you should definitely do when you're looking for vendors. And hopefully this will help you. Now, please note, this is not everything. There's a lot to it when it comes to looking for vendors. It's a lot, y'all. It's not easy. If people say it's easy, then hey, Spreadshop, then I don't know. I don't know how. I'm just being, and I've been doing this for a long time. I'm just being honest. And so if it's easy, I don't know. All right. Exactly. Because you want some good vendors. Exactly. You want good vendors. So number 1. So if y'all are ready, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you are ready. I had someone to ask me, they was like, you're not going to go live every day for the month of December? I won't be, because I just have so much to do. So I can't, I'm not even going to commit to it. And then I had some speaking engagements that also are coming up. So it's just too much, y'all, between now and the holidays. So I just like, I got to focus. But when I do have something I want to share, I will definitely post it on my Instagram, and I'll start using this restream that'll notify you when I'll be going live as well. Okay. Hey, Jocelyn. So you'll know. All right. Okay. So number 1, where to find vendors. This is the biggest question that people ask. Okay. Now, a lot of people would probably be mad at me for sharing this, but I'm going to share it. You can Google, number 1. You can Google vendors. Okay. You would put in vendor, supplier, manufacturer, or whatever it is that you're looking for. Google is your friend on this. It didn't used to be, but you still got to be careful, okay? Number one is trade shows. Number two is trade shows. So listen, I used to go to trade shows all the time to find vendors and suppliers. I really like that the best because you can actually feel the product, talk to the vendors directly. So a lot of my suppliers I personally have, even if I didn't, even if I wasn't using them, I will leave it up for you. Even if I didn't use them, I just collected vendors, y'all, over the years. Like, even if I wasn't, like, I have like vendors for perfume bottles. You know, I'm not going to start a perfume business, but maybe one of my clients is, right? And so now it's like, oh, well, I've been to that vendor, I met that vendor, and most of those trade shows I went to were overseas. Most of them were overseas, and so I was able to really talk to the people that for trade shows. Well, guess what? Because of COVID, now trade shows are actually online. So you need to be going to look for trade shows and talk to vendors. Okay, so the trade shows are online now, so you have a little bit easier. And then also look for social media. Now, social media, there's a lot of people who sell vendor lists, right? It's not a bad thing. If you feel like you just cannot research and you just don't have the time, then yes, then maybe purchase a vendor list. I don't know what you're going to get, but I'm just saying, if you don't have the time to do it on your own, then maybe that's the best option for you, right? A lot of people like to use Alibaba and AliExpress as well. Most vendors, y'all, believe it or not, are actually on Alibaba and AliExpress, okay? Even some of your really good ones. Only thing is there's some really bad ones too, right? With some very cheap products. And so you just have to really, really do your research. Okay, I'm telling you, do your research. Also, if you're going to buy these social media lists that people have, a lot of them have some. Now, I know I have two clients that bought two lists, and they were actually really good lists. I also have a client who actually bought a vendor list, and it was terrible. Half the links weren't working. The vendors were out of business, you know, and then of course it says no refund. Thank you for joining. So it just really depends. So up under the comments, you know, I love to stalk people. Somebody, either they're going to put, oh, this is a great list, or they're going to put way down in the comments, you know, no, this is a terrible list, don't buy it. Read your comments, do your research, okay? Do your research. All right, number two, you're going to make a list of all your potential vendors, okay? So now you found like, I don't know, 6 vendors that you said, you know, I really like these vendors. So now you're going to make a list of all of these vendors. You are going to set up meetings with them. You can now do it on what? Zoom. You know, so COVID, this pandemic, is a good and bad thing. All right. Thank you so much for joining. So you are going to set up meetings with them. You're going to talk to them. You're going to narrow down which vendor that you actually want to work with. You're going to have more than one vendor. Please, please, please hear me. You need to have more than one vendor. Do not just have one vendor. What happens if that vendor gets sick? What happens if there's an outage? What happens if during the pandemic, like some of these countries are shutting down right now, what if they're completely shut down and they can't do anything? If you have another vendor, hey, oh, okay, good. Okay, I like that. Send me a DM so I make sure I follow. All right, so think about it. This is the thing. If one person shuts down, you have another vendor to use, right? Another manufacturer that you can actually use. And matter of fact, if you could find 3, perfect. Do not just have one, y'all. I've seen it happen. It's a mess when you have one. I've even seen someone who actually had a business and they used one vendor. The vendor ended up, I'm trying to think if I say this, will you know it? Okay, no, maybe not. The vendor actually ended up stealing her idea and making a duplicate a copy of what she had. Okay, it's just a mess. Ended up selling her stuff that she actually her product, okay, as their own. Y'all, it's a hot mess. And so of course she had to end up stopping, trying to find another vendor. It was a mess. because she didn't have anybody else while she was suing this one. Okay, so just don't have more than one vendor, and also protect your stuff. Number 3, you want to request samples. Request samples. I don't care. I know on Ali, one of them, Alibaba, maybe it is one of them, they'll ask you to do a certain hey percentage, I mean a certain amount of so like in other words, like if it's I don't know, these cases, they might tell you to do 30 cases. I'm trying to make sure I do this not like everybody understands what I'm saying. I was going to start using some terms, but let's say they ask you to do 30 of these. Well, what if you don't like 30 of these, right? So you're going to try to negotiate and ask them, listen, can I do a product sample? Well, guess what happens? How are you? Guess what happens? Sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, I'll send you a sample. This is $1. And then they want to charge you $26 for shipping because they really don't want to do the samples. I don't like working with vendors like that. I'm just like, I'm not doing that. Like, no, like, why would I do that? Like, why would I pay for that? So you really have to research and you really have to talk to vendors, get to know them, and really, really communicate what you want. And then ask for a sample, just like, I'm not going to buy it, you know. And then sometimes they'll be like, well, how many do you think that you're going to actually purchase after I send the sample? So you need to know all that information up front. Okay. So you're going to ask for samples. You're going to check for the quality. You're going to look at the package when it arrived. You know, was it damaged? You know, what did it look like once you, I mean, as soon as you get the package, like as soon as you take it out the mailbox, you inspect it. Okay. It has a bunch of holes in it. Now open it up. Thank you for joining. Okay. Now it looks like the box is damaged. Okay. Is this going to happen all the time? Like all of this stuff is important. Or now you're going to say, well, how long did it take him or her to ship it to me? Because if it takes them 6 to 8 weeks, do you really want to work with that vendor? But then you got this other vendor like, oh, it's been here for 2 days. You see what I mean? And so when you actually have the sample, the other thing is, whatever it is, please listen to me, that you are actually looking to sell. You need to test it. And don't test it for 1 day. I have a product right now, y'all. I promise you, I left Dubai in a year. So it's been a year. It's the truth. It's been a year. It's actually been a year. It's been a whole year. Okay. Okay. Thank you. It's been a whole year. It's because I'm trying different ones that they have, but I needed to make sure that I tested out to full capacity. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say like you decide you want to do a duffel bag, right? Well, you need to get the duffel bag. You need to carry it. You need to put like a little bit of stuff in it. Then you add a little bit more stuff in it. Then you add a little bit more stuff into the point where it's so heavy. Are the straps going to break? Is everything going to fall through the bottom? You need to leave it, you know, maybe you having to sit outside a little bit. Is it going to change colors? I'm telling y'all, you got to put it through the test. Okay. If you put water on it, is it going to be water stains? If it has brass on it, will the brass, is it turning, you know, and you won't know that unless, thank you for joining, unless you have tested the product. And you can't test a product in 1 or 2 days, y'all. So a lot of times people say, oh, I really want to sell these products. And I'm gonna get these necklaces. And then all of a sudden people, you sell them. They're like, oh, my neck is turning green. Well, had you tested the product, you would have known that their neck was going to turn green, right? Does that make sense? And so you want to make sure that you're testing the quality. Give yourself some time. So don't all of a sudden say, oh, I want to launch, I don't know, a business, a skincare business in January. Well, how are you going to do that? And how are you going to do that successfully? That's the thing. Now, you can do it. You can go grab some products from somebody in somewhere in some country and put them on your Shopify store or whatever you're going to sell it on. But did you test it? Is it going to be successful? You know, this is about sustaining a business. When you start a business, don't look for, a lot of people get into it for the money. The money will come if you do the right thing. So you want to make sure that you have, as my sister, Dr. Robin says, integrity. You want to make sure that you have sustainability in your business, and you want to be able to scale your business and making sure that you have good customer service. And so in order to do that, when it comes to a product, you have to test it. Then send it to somebody, not just you. Have somebody in your family that you trust to test your products. Or maybe it's not your family. Maybe it's one of your friends. Maybe you create a focus group and have people tell the truth. people that you don't even know. So those are the steps that I would take, okay? And then number 4, you're going to ask about their technology. What type of technology do they have? How are they going to communicate with you? How are they going to communicate with you? Everybody does not use Facebook. Some countries are blocked from Facebook. How are you all going to communicate? And do they have stable internet? You know, how many outages do they usually have? You know, or do they have any outages? I have a virtual assistant that's been working with me for years, and they always have outages, always. So I knew I had to get another virtual assistant because it's always happening. Does that make sense? Or I would make sure that I gave this virtual assistant maybe something that I know that doesn't need to be done for 2 weeks just in case there is an outage. So you have to always be thinking ahead. And now I'm going to give you a bonus. All right. The bonus is, how will they ship to you? And how, ask them this question. So I want you to figure out, how are you going to get your packages? If they're coming internationally, how are you going to get them? Are you getting them by land, ocean, air? What? And what carrier are you going to use? And then you want to ask them this key question. How often do you ship to the United States of America or wherever you live? Ask them, how often do they ship? So if I talk to a vendor and the vendor says to me, I only ship, maybe it's been about 3 months. I don't know. But then another vendor says, oh, well, I actually ship 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, well, then you're used to shipping to the US. That's good. That's a check in my book. Boom. So on my little Excel spreadsheet, beside that vendor, I'm going to put ships 3 to 4 days a week. Thank you for joining. Make sense? Because I'm going to have a whole Excel spreadsheet with all of the vendors. Thank you for joining. All of the vendors that I'm working with and that I'm thinking about. Thank you for joining. That I'm thinking about working with. I will have an Excel spreadsheet. And so what will happen is, the people that I don't want to work with, or the people that have some issues, like telling me, oh, well, it takes us 2 to 3 months to ship, you're going in the red. Okay. The person who says to me, oh, thank you for joining. Oh, well, you know, we ship within 2 or 3 days, you're definitely going in the green. Oh, the person who says to me, well, guess what? I'm going to send you some samples for free. Definitely on my list. But a person who said, okay, I'm going to send you a sample and the product costs $2, but the total price for that one sample is going to be $35. Unless I really, really, like, I got to be really, really wanting to pay that. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hey, Colette. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I hope this is helpful to you all. I am going to actually leave this up for a limited replay because I am now going to be saving these somewhere else where you will be able to access them later. But I wanted to come on here and share this with you. So I definitely will leave the replay up. I suggested you watch it tonight. But I hope this is helpful because I've had a lot of people researching and looking for vendors, and people are asking me, should they buy vendor lists? Some of these vendor lists are actually really good, y'all. Some of them are a hot mess, and that's the truth. Okay. Some of them, people just putting stuff together and just making money for a download, which is so unethical. But anyway, that's another conversation. But just do your research, y'all. And if you really, really go in the comments, like if you really scroll down, like if somebody has like 125,000 or anything over 10,000 followers, and then all of a sudden you see like 80, 90 comments and it's on a vendor list, if you just take your time and really research, because a lot of them are not going to go back and delete all those comments that are bad, right? So then therefore you're going to be able to go and see what people are asking, some of the questions and stuff. And I write all that down. I'm like, nope. Does that make sense? So I always look in comments when I'm purchasing stuff from people. I always look in the comments. So unless they don't have a lot of followers, maybe not a lot of comments, they can probably easily delete. But if they have a lot of followers, it's going to be very hard for them to delete all of the bad comments. So just read, y'all, and research. Okay. So I hope this was helpful to you all. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here. Sorry, y'all, on Instagram. I put it on. Sorry, y'all. Sorry on Instagram. I put it on Do Not Disturb, and I don't know what happened. Okay, but anyway, so go ahead and make sure you watch the replay because I will be taking this down at some point. But I'll leave it up for at least tonight. Okay. So it was helpful. Great. In the comments, if you're on Facebook, I didn't get to see your comments. I don't know what's going on. I will go back through the comments and see if you have any questions. Okay. But this is not everything. This is just like to get you started. I just want people to get started. If you're trying to start a business in 2021 as a product-based business, don't wait until 2021, y'all. At least do some research, talk to some vendors, schedule some appointments. People are now, a lot of countries are back on lockdown. Even look local. There's manufacturers right here in the United States of America. So you can actually look for some local vendors as well and suppliers. Everything doesn't have to be overseas. You just got to take your time and do some research. But that's it. All right. Any questions before I hang up? Any questions? And again, if you're on Facebook, I apologize. I have to figure out because I can't see your comments and I don't know why. But I just saw Jocelyn's and I saw Anita's on Periscope. And wait. And YouTube. Any questions? All right, so I'm going to let y'all go. I will talk to y'all later, and thank y'all so much for joining me. You are more than welcome. I will definitely leave this up, okay? Hold on. Somebody said, Sky, I didn't mean to pin your comment. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Sky, listen, just you're on Facebook. No, I'm going to leave it up, okay? I'm trying to get used to this, y'all. Just showing people's comments. Thank goodness it wasn't nothing. All right, Sky, I'm going to leave it up, okay? All right, so I'm going to get off here so y'all can watch the replay. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.